Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, contrary to other videos, I don't really have a plan. I just want us to talk about the MBA application process. I'm going to talk a little bit about my MBA application experience, things I liked or things I learned, things I didn't like so much, tips and tricks that I was able to grab along the way. Hopefully this is not going to be too long of a video and I'm able to do all of this in one take. And if that's not the case, then we're going to just have to split into several parts, right? Okay, so welcome to my channel. I'm MS Zico and I am an MBA admit at the Villanova School of Business. I started my MBA application process in October of 2022, and I got my admission at the Villanova School of Business in April of 2023. Yeah. So right off the bat, what comes to mind is what I would say is the biggest piece of advice that I got while I was preparing for this whole MBA application and even throughout my MBA application. And that advice is, do not focus on the name of the school, focus on the right school for you. And that's my other brother that gave it to me. And basically what he meant wasn't so much that it wasn't about, hey, you look for shitty schools or don't go for schools that have no name or no reputation. No, what he meant was, we have identified a list of sports schools. So when I was applying, I applied to UC Davis, I applied to Notre Dame, I applied to Villanova, and I applied to Owen Graduate School of Management from Vanderbilt. Yeah. And so he told me, hey, these are good schools. Your profile is your profile is good. Some of them you might fit right into. But don't focus on the name. Don't look at them because hey, they're prestigious, hey, this and that. Don't attach yourself, don't get attached to the name of the school. In the end, you might get 4 rejections. And that's okay. We're going to do it if that's the case, we're going to go into the next cycle and we're going to apply again to more schools and we're going to find until we get you the right one, right? But also you might also just get one admission letter, and that admission letter is going to be from the school that wants you, the school that sees your potential, that sees you as being a fit for their own MBA program, and that's really what you want. So that's what he meant. That's what he means by, don't focus on the name of the school. The school that wants you is a school that's going to offer you an admission letter, basically. And I would say that that's been the biggest piece of advice through the process, mainly because I got one admission letter. I was refused from Notre Dame, was refused from UC Davis. I didn't get the benchmark score on the proficiency test to apply to Owen. Yeah, and the only school that actually gave me an admission letter was Villanova. And yeah, how it came down, that was also really another story of its own. Maybe I'm going to share it another time. But yeah, so when I got the admission letter from Villanova, obviously very excited, very elated, but there was also the question of, hey, it's already April, are we going to be able to make it in time for the fall semester, for the start of the fall semester, right? And we had all this whole process that we had to begin, that we had to kickstart in order to make sure that everything is ready for August of 2023, and for me to be on campus. And my entire interaction during the next couple of months with the admissions team and other faculty members at Villanova and even some alumni was actually what showed me that Villanova was the school for me, or Villanova is the school for me. I was able to appreciate how when you're being heard, things feel so much different from when you're just part of the crowd, right? My admissions advisor was actually very invested and committed to make sure that, hey, I had everything that I needed. And even though some part of my brain, while I'm saying it, would think, hey, but that's his job. Yeah, that's his job, but it's not. But it also says a lot about someone that will go over and above to make sure that you have everything, to make sure that you're set, to make sure that all the information that is supposed to be to be with you is actually with you, right? It's not just about, hey, I sent a document and the information is in the document. No, I send the document, but I'm making sure that you have the right information, making sure that everything is is set up. And yeah, so there were little examples like that, and so some of these examples I hope to share them in another video that will be specifically dedicated to why I like Villanova School of Business for my MBA. I'll be able to tell you more about that in that video. But yeah, like I said, that was my biggest piece of advice, and that's one way in which I saw how Villanova really stood out to me when it came down to to the advice I received. Right. One area that I didn't like about the entire application process, the essay writing. That was it was a tough task, because writing essays for MBA programs, or even for any academic programs, and maybe even professional, for even professional for jobs, right, for job offers, is a tough task for me because it's mentally draining. You writing your essays, and I'll tell you this right now, when you're writing your essays, if you don't feel like you've gone through your entire life by the time you're done writing your essays, something is missing. Something is missing. When you're writing those essays, it serves you well to go deep into your story, deep into your childhood, deep into the way you have been brought up from as far back as you can remember. Right. I recall when I wrote my essay, my essay for Villanova, I spoke about how I was brought up as a kid by my grandparents when I went to college, into boarding school, from Form 1 to opposite. What I learned there, the lessons, the biggest lessons that I got from boarding school, and that have stayed with me right up to this very moment, and that I plan to use. I plan to use as I'm getting into business school, right? And yeah, like I said, basically appreciating the fact that I had to go deep into my childhood. I had to go deep into how I was being brought up, how I went through life, in order to get the lessons, in order to get the stories to tell, in order to get the relevant experiences that fit in with each essay prompt that I was being given. And at the end of the entire process, I cannot tell you how exhausted I was. Like, mentally, I was exhausted. It felt like after those 3 weeks or 4 weeks, it felt to me like I had relived my life 10 times over. Right. But like I said, it's a good process to go through, and it's the right process, it's the right way to go about this process. If you don't do it, then chances are you're going to be provided information on a very surface level, general information that can be found anywhere on the internet, and most likely 50, 60, 70% of all applicants are providing similar kind of information, right? And you definitely want to stand out, you want to share your story, you want to make it personal for the admission committee. And yeah, in as much as I didn't like the entire process, I cannot say that it was a bad way of going about the whole essay writing. And what else? Yeah, another thing that I found very daunting was the course by course credential evaluation. I spoke about it in an earlier video, when I mentioned that I spent 4 months getting my course by course credential evaluation. And this was no fault to ECE, which is the agency that I use for the evaluation of my academic transcripts, but rather the fault was on my alma mater. Basically, what happens during this process is you're going to send out a request to ECE for an evaluation of your transcripts. You're going to send out the copies that you have, and ECE will or EC from their policies, they need to confirm, to validate that you were a student at the university that is being shown on all your academic documents, and they don't need you to confirm that. They reach out to the school, and they have to get, it's only when they get a validation or a verification email from the school concerning your transcripts and your admission status that they can actually proceed to actually evaluating your academic transcripts. Like I said, where I was stuck, my alma mater delayed the verification process, and maybe delayed is not even the best word. It's more so like it was an unusual process for my former university. They weren't used to that process. What I came to understand is in the past years they have had to mail the transcripts of the students through FedEx, I believe, FedEx or DHL. Yeah, they have had to mail the academic transcripts directly to the agency. But ECA didn't need that, and with the whole pandemic, policies were put in place in such a way that you could actually send an electronic confirmation. The IT department at my school, at my alma mater, wasn't the best, sadly. Anyway, I had to, one thing that I found myself doing is I had to go down to school because I stayed in Yaoundé. My school was in Douala, so I had to leave Yaoundé, travel back to Douala, spent over a week or 2 weeks there, moving from one office to the other, making sure, or tracking down the email, who is in charge of that. Okay, the IT department has received the email, but the person that has to verify is not on campus, so I have to wait. You wait a week or two and the person is back, but then they can't find the email again, right? How does that happen? I have to get back to ECA, ask them to send back an email because, well, there's this whole thing about, hey, they're not finding your email amongst everything that they have. ECE sends back the email, I get back to the school, they waste some time, they can't find the email again after a couple of days, and the whole process has to start over again. But finally I was able to get the right parties involved, and I was able to get my verification email to ECE. And here's what I'm going to give props to ECE. From the moment they received the verification email to the moment I was notified that my evaluation was completed, that was less than 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks and a half tops, right? So that's the timeline really that you can expect your evaluation to take. But the verification process, really, my advice to you would be stay in contact with your alma mater if you're doing your credential evaluation. Make sure that when they get the email, when EC tells you, hey, we've emailed to your school, we're just waiting on them to verify, get to your alma mater, make sure that they verify it as early as possible so that ECE can actually proceed with your evaluation. That'll be my advice to you. Another point just before I conclude, because I can see this video is already 30 minutes long. The last point I'm going to conclude for this video, maybe I'm going to do the second part, I don't know yet, is talking about the recommendation letters. One thing I found out during my MBA application process is recommendation actually happens, how they call that form, the common recommendation, the CROL, something like that, common recommenders. I don't know what it stands for again, but basically what it entails is that most business schools use the system, you use that form whereby your recommenders are going to be required through every portal to basically submit the same evaluation. It's basically an evaluation sheet of your leadership qualities, of your academic prowess, your professional experience, and how your recommenders judge you compared to previous people they have had to work with or they have had to teach, right? So that was new to me, and it came in handy because I thought that throughout the entire process to get my recommenders to submit a recommendation, I would have to be on top of them to say, hey, please find time to write out a recommendation for me, because very busy people, sometimes they don't have time, or at least they don't have as much time as they would like to have for you, right? But when it comes down, when that form is already there and they have answered on one portal, they can actually just use the same answers and do the same and do it for the same form through all the other portals, which actually leads me to this point, which I don't know why business schools aren't doing this, since they're all using the same form. Why can't they just create one common platform for the recommendation to happen, and when the recommender comes, he has already entered the name or the reference of the student that he's recommending. You, the student, creating your profile, you've already selected the list of schools that are supposed to receive your recommenders form, right? So on the recommender side, it's actually going to be a process done only once. On your side, or as an applicant, it's going to be an even easier process, because you will not have to ask, hey, have you done for Villanova? Hey, have you done for Vanderbilt? Hey, have you done for UC Davis? Right? All of them are sent at the moment the click submit on the form, right? It's I don't know why they haven't done it yet, but I do hope that in the future, that's something that they integrate to the whole MBA application system. I know it's not the same as applying to an MBA program. It's not the same as applying to an undergraduate program. Where applying to an undergraduate program, you would use the common app, and basically everything that I just explained, that's going to happen in the common app. But applying to graduate school, not just an MBA program, but applying to graduate school, each school has its own portal, and yeah, it comes with its own challenges. So yeah, this is a very long video, and probably the first video that I do that is this long, but I hope you enjoyed listening to what I had to say. And if you want part two of this video, please let me know. I'll try to be a little bit more structured in the next video, if there's a next one. Actually, I try to plan out what I have to say, so it doesn't sound like I'm rambling or anything like that. But then again, yeah, like I said, if you want a second video, or a part two to this video, mention it in the comments, let me know, and I'll work on that. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoy, or you want to know more about applying to a US MBA program as an international applicant, I have a whole blog dedicated to my experience, lessons I learned, and best practices I got along the way. The link to the blog is in the description box below. Consider reading those articles. If you enjoyed this video and you want more, drop a like, subscribe, and stick around for the next video. Until next time, thank you.